Alrighty, Bridget, let's go through this call review, right? I've gone through pretty much everything up until this point. I've seen pretty much everything that I need to see in order to make a good judgment call. I've taken a bunch of notes here. I'm going to walk you through everything, okay? Let's start right at the top. In general, what I have noticed, every single call review we do, you get better and better. So I have to agree in general with your sentiment that you felt like you did really well in this call. In general, you stuck to the script well, you had fantastic tonality. There were some really amazing sections where you recapped his problems really strongly. In general, this is the best call I've seen from you, right? That being said, there's a good and bad here. There's a pro and con. The bad news is that there's still some fundamental things that you missed, which ultimately cost you the sale. The good news is it's taken the mystery out of why he didn't close. When you send me this call to review, you would initially said that this was a good call. You felt like there wasn't really anything that you could have improved on. This was a really strong call. You just don't know why he didn't close, right? The good news is by the end of this review, you'll know exactly why he didn't close and what you could have done to make sure you tie him down. We extract his full pain, and by the end of the call, he knows without a shadow of a doubt, there is nothing else he can do except work with you. If he doesn't pay you, he's going right back to a very painful cycle, right? That is ethically what we need prospects to feel, because sales is service. We're trying to make him realize this is it. This is the only solution here. If he goes to anything else, if it's the CrossFit that he was complaining about, if it's working with another coach, they're not going to understand him. They're not going to be able to help him out. They're going to prescribe him crazy intense workouts that he's going to hate. And he said it himself, he's going to fall right back into that cycle where he hates the gym, he's going to hate it forever, and he's never going to be in shape. That is what's at stake here. So we need to fight for this prospect to make a life-changing decision on this call. And the general premise of the note that I want to give you is that you need to push more. And what I don't mean is towards the end, when we're trying to fight for the sale, trying to objection handle. I don't mean pushing then. It's actually in reverse. Where you need to push is during the discovery. I've highlighted these red flags here that came up where you glanced over them and continued on with the script without addressing these red flags. This is actually where we fight. And the reason it works so much better to do the push, to do the fighting in the discovery, is because it comes across far more ethical. You're not talking about the price yet. You're not trying to force him to buy from you. You're just trying to understand his objections, his hesitations better. You're trying to really understand what's holding him back. What are the roadblocks? Trying to allow him to uncover his real pain. This is actually the most ethical place where you should push. We should hold a prospect's feet to the fire. Trying to push in the objection handling, that's where they feel pressured. That's where they want to escape the call. That's probably why some people, as you mentioned, get to the end, they tell you what you want to hear. Oh yeah, Bridget, let's sign up now. And then they just disappear from the call. After reviewing this, I can tell why. And if this guy was a different kind of prospect, he probably would have done the same thing. Because if it was me in this situation, by the end of this call, if you were trying to handle the objections, if I was throwing it out and you handled it this way, I probably would have wanted to leave the call as well, right? Now, I hope you're taking this not personally at all, this criticism. This is the best news I could give you. Clarity. So you know, okay, the mystery is taken out of this. I understand why he didn't close. I know what I can do to improve this. But Bridget, if you can just flip your process upside down. Instead of fighting in the objection handling, you're fighting during the discovery. You show that you're on their side. And then as a result, you end up having no objections. This is the most beautiful setup we could ask for. In the combination of the VSL pre-nurturing, really strong discovery where we don't let a single thing slip by us, it turns out that we don't have objections here. We would rather fight here. It's way easier for us. It's better for them. We have the call on kind of an even playing field where we are on their side. But if we try and do this after we drop the price, it's an uphill battle. Okay, so the general premise of the notes that I have here is you can't let the small details slide. Your radar needs to pick up on these red flags, and you cannot move on until these are solved. Okay? So let's get into it. All right, starting with the good. Your report was fantastic, right? Good tonality. Again, probably the best I've seen from you. I do think we can just like split the difference a little bit. I noticed in the tonality, it was a little bit more on the too friendly side of things, where we set the frame of being a friend rather than an authority, right? So I'll show you where that is. It's right around here.
Remind me, where are you located around again?
So I'm in the United Kingdom.
Where in the UK?
Northern Ireland.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I took some notes down.
Right. So we can keep it pretty neutral, right? Most people can kind of see through it. We don't want people to start thinking we're disingenuous when our tonality is a little overzealous, right? So we can pull it back just a little bit. In general, I like the tonality. I think the way that you did the frame was really solid. You know, you pretty much just went straight into it, exactly how you needed to. How's your week? Where are you located? Great. Awesome. Here's what I want to do. Beautiful, right? In general, the frame went really well. By 3 minutes 35, we pretty much get an understanding of this lead that he likes to talk, right? And your first question here was, you know, essentially what made you book in the call today? And he starts telling us his origin story, right? You know, I started playing football, and we don't need that, mate. Just why are you here right now? What's been going on recently, dog? Don't tell us about shit when you were 8 years old. What happened right now or recently, okay? So I loved the way that you interrupted here. Really good. You know, you mentioned his name really early on. That's what people respond to. It helps us to interject quite easily. So I'll play this through just to solidify this for you. This was really, really solid.
So I want to try and bring a few new things to it and do it properly this time.
Well, Andrew, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what it is you're looking for, maybe specifically?
Fantastic. Couldn't have been any better. Andrew, let me ask you this. Pause. All right. Boom. Question. Really good. Maintain this whenever you need to interrupt people. I know you had to interrupt this guy a couple times. They were all really good. So this was fantastic. If we fast forward though to around here, so you ask him, what are you currently doing to lose weight and gain strength? Those were his goals, right? And he said, I'm doing CrossFit, but you know, I hate it. It's way too intense. I leave the sessions feeling like shit. There's a saying, I think it's from The Art of War, and it's don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. I'm pretty sure it's The Art of War, or else I'm going to look like a fool. It's something along those lines, all right? And here, he's talking about, I feel this way. I don't feel like, you know, I'm strong enough to do it, or I feel like even the beginner intensity is too much for me. Good. We want to start exploiting some of those pains, right? He feels like he's no longer as fit as he used to be. Good. But what you did here is assign that pain to well, Andrew, you only feel like that because it's CrossFit. We've now just solved his pain. He can get off the call right here and be like, you know what? Bridget's right. The only reason I didn't get a great result the last time I tried fitness was because I was just doing CrossFit. Yeah, maybe if I do something different, I'll be fine. No. Don't interrupt him when he's just now revealing his pain. He's like, you know, I used to feel really active, and now this beginner intensity is just way too much for me. We want to lean into that, not take it away from him. We want to be like, interesting. Boom, next question. But here, look at what you said.
It's inconsistent with how it just depends on the instructors, but
so that's what put me off that, and I'm just really trying to find a new structure and that to bring to get back
to make you feel a little bit better. CrossFit, it's inconsistent with how it just depends on the instructors, but
yeah.
You mentioned risk of injury is something you think about, right? Especially with the past wrist weakness, and a lot of times CrossFit can contribute to those not feeling good. Okay, so currently doing it seems like this CrossFit style, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there we lose that leverage that we built very quickly. So we don't want to do this. In general, I just want you to keep this in mind. Don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. Not that the prospect is your enemy, right? But as you're building leverage, don't take it away. Okay, so 740. Let's go through here.
I've been trying to get into the swing of that. But that would really be it. Again, with working from 8 a.m. to 5 and coming back in these winter months.
So, Andrew.
So here you ask, where do you feel most stuck? So around this time in the script, it's a decent time to ask, we're getting into the roadblock phases, where do you feel most stuck at the moment? So we're making good pace so far, right? We don't really get too caught up in these questions here. We're getting into the deeper stuff now. So good. In general, just wanted to make that note. You're progressing here well, okay? So the pace up until this point is good. From here on though, and I'll highlight, you prioritize sticking to the script rather than highlighting the red flags, right? This causes you to glance over some really important points in what the prospect mentions. And because you don't address it, tie them down, he ends up escaping the call without paying, okay? The first thing is here, okay? You ask him, where do you feel most stuck at the moment? And he says, I don't really think the diet is the problem. Listen to what he says here.
Diet's okay. It's more just whenever I was in the gym, I'm going to do some gains, but...
Look at him. Diet's not the problem. Buddy, it's the only problem, right? This does not strike me as the kind of person who's got his diet all in check, okay? You can clearly see it, right? The face is obviously puffy. You can generally tell what his build would look like, right? Even in his hands, you can see he's got quite chubby hands, right? This is a prospect that does not have his diet sorted, right? However, he's blind to that fact. He doesn't even know. He's of the delusion that, and I quote, the diet is okay. It's just the training. Oh, buddy, you are sorely mistaken. And I'm almost certain as well, Bridget, you've been coaching for so many years, right? This is not lost on you either. You looking at this guy, you're like, yeah, the diet is 1,000,000% the problem here, okay? And I could tell when you were pitching, you were trying to make that point, but you don't make that point in the pitch, you make that point now. So here, we need to dive in deeper. And the only way for someone to realize the true error of their ways, for someone to realize what their actual problem is, to uncover pain that they've either been suppressing or they weren't aware of, is to ask simple questions. We don't just start attacking the guy and saying, oh, Andrew, look, judging by the look of you, mate, you're a bit of a chubby cunt, right? We don't just say that. We ask him, oh, that's interesting, Andrew. What is your diet like right now? All right, give me your average day. And he'll tell us. He ended up revealing this more or less at 22 minutes. And I'll kind of cut to the chase. We'll probably get to it later on. But he ends up saying, oh, yeah, I eat the regular stuff, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I eat my fruit, my vegetables. But I'm at the vending machine. I'm eating some fast food. Oh, well, there you go, Andrew. That's the reason why, mate. Your diet is not as good as you think. And he even mentioned while he was studying in university, he's pretty much eating the same things as what he was eating in university. Now he's graduated. But back then he had energy and he was more athletic. Bridget, I can't even remember what I ate a week ago. Okay? Let alone however many years ago this dude was still studying in uni when he's comparing his former self to. This is a recurring theme with this guy, by the way. He's comparing what he used to be like, his old energy levels, his old diet, his old training style. He's comparing himself now to then. He says, oh, back then I was way better. This is a really important, storyline this guy's telling himself that you didn't address, right? We're going to address it here. But, Bridget, this guy is completely delusional. It's like, oh, it's the same as what it was when I was in uni. Me and you probably don't remember what we ate yesterday, okay? How does this guy remember what he ate 3 years ago? He's in over his head. He doesn't know better. And the only way to figure that out is for him. So we ask him, what's your diet actually like? Let me ask you, Andrew, why do you think the diet isn't the problem? Oh, because this. I mean, Andrew, are you actually tracking what you eat? How do you really know? Oh, well, I'm just guessing, and I'm eating more or less the same things every day. Okay, well, you mentioned you go to the vending machine, yeah? Yeah, well, just on average, if you can really picture it, Andrew, how many times throughout the week you go into the vending machine? Oh, maybe 4 times a week. And what are you actually getting? You're just getting one thing? You're getting maybe, chocolate and chips. Now, you know that chocolate and chips is probably an extra 500 calories. Well, there you fucking go. And then, Andrew, you mentioned as well you're eating like fast food as well. How many times per week is that? Maybe 3 times a week. And what do you typically get, Andrew? Oh, I typically get McDonald's, I get KFC. You know that's probably an extra 800 to 1,000 calories. So there you go. And then you lay it out for him. Andrew, can I be honest? Can I break something down for you? Sure, Bridget, go on. You mentioned you do this, and you go out this many times. Now, Andrew, I've been doing this for a long time. Do you want to actually know how many extra calories that's contributing every day, every week? It's adding an extra 4,000, 5,000 calories per week, right? That's, for most people, 2 or 3 days worth of food. Can you kind of see, Andrew, how eating an extra 2 or 3 days worth of food each week would actually be making it more difficult for you to lose weight? And this guy, we later found, was actually quite receptive to your suggestions. He would absolutely come around and say, yeah, I didn't think about it like that. Boom. Now he's aware of it. And then you can even ask him, you can set it up more. Andrew, I mean, you said you wanted to lose weight, yeah? How long have you tried to lose weight? Oh, a couple of years. In those last 3 years, Andrew, have you actually gone on a diet where you completely cut out the fast food, you cut out this kind of stuff? Oh yeah, I did. How did that work? Well, I actually lost the weight. Oh, cool. Why did you stop doing those things? Oh, because this. Then we unpack another limiting thing. And this will become apparent later on. He said he tried a few things. Some worked, some didn't. He said he tried the calorie deficit and it worked. Well, we need to find out, why didn't you stick to it, mate? We'll get into that in a second. But just here so far, Bridget, I hope you can see, 7, 8 minutes in, we've got a big limiting belief here that's going to stop him from paying us. If he doesn't think that the diet is a problem, half of your program is, hey, you get nutritionists, you get the diet on point. But if he's still sitting there like, it's not really a big deal, you lose half of your leverage. That's a big reason why he didn't pay. He doesn't even feel it's worth it because he doesn't think the diet is the problem. But it is. It's the biggest problem. Look at him. Okay? So, let's keep going. This is about to get even juicier, right? Because we've got 4 more red flags that come up that ended up costing you the call, all right? But hopefully so far you can see where things started to fall apart, okay? Right around here, for this question, I think it was great tonality.
Andrew, with not being sure on that training structure and not being able to see the same results that other people were getting, and on top of that, like the change of job, having gained some of this weight, what sort of impact has that had on other areas of your life, whether it's your energy, your job, anything like that?
Fantastic. I think overall, Bridget, again, comparing the first call I reviewed from you to now, your tonality has improved tenfold. So really, really good stuff there, okay? Now here he answers this question by saying, how all these things have impacted my life is that my energy levels are just not what they used to be like. He says it himself, he doesn't feel optimal anymore compared to the past. Just listen to this right here.
And she's not feeling my sort of optimum levels really compared to what I did feel. And yeah, being sitting at an office desk does not help with that because you sit there all day and you're not really moving.
So listen to the language here, right? I don't feel optimal. So in his mind, there is a level of feeling really good, right? He has that in his mind already. And it's not some made up imaginary optimal level. He has previously experienced this. That's why he's comparing it, how he is now, to back then I was optimal. This is huge. Because it's not, like I said, it's not just in the ether of what he thinks he should be like. He knows what this is like intimately. He was there. What happened? Why did he let himself go? Why can't he get back there on his own? These are all leverage building questions. This puts all of the odds in your favor. We need to ask these questions. So we need to dig into this. Well, Andrew, let me ask you, you mentioned that, in the past you used to feel optimal. Tell me more about that. How did you feel? Oh, this. And when was the last time you felt like that, Andrew? 3 years ago. What was happening 3 years ago? I was studying in uni. Well, what was different about things back then versus now? Oh, I had more time. Well, this. You're getting information here, Bridget. Andrew, I'm just curious, you said 3 years ago you felt optimal. You were training, you were eating well. What caused you to drop off, do you think? Oh, well, it was this. Interesting. Tell me more about that, Andrew. Right? The next one. What does he think he needs to do in order to get back there? Well, Andrew, it seems like there was once upon a time where you were in this optimal state, right? You know what that felt like intimately. Now, 3 years down the line, when you look back at that, what do you think you need to do in order to get back to that stage? Oh, well, this. Right, well, Andrew, if you know what you need to do, why haven't you done that yet? Oh, well, I have. Okay, well, what did you do? Oh, well, I went on a calorie deficit. For how long? Oh, 4 weeks. And what results did you get? Well, I lost 3 kilos. Well, that's good. But why did you stop? Oh, because this. Now we know. It's more information. Fantastic, right? Let's keep it moving though, right? Right around 10:40, when you ask them, cool, what things have you tried in order to lose the weight? Listen to what he says.
Really just, I've tried to look at a few things online. Some have worked. Other ones, I've still yet to actually try them. But the ones I have tried, again, minimal sort of results with it. I mean, the obvious ones really, with people say to you in general, well, whether it's a calorie deficit, trying to lose the weight, or just being more active. And it has worked a bit. Now, whether it needs to be increased a bit in terms of the intensity or the number of times I go out at the minute in the week, probably that would help as well. But just looking back whenever I was at my sort of peak fitness or peak sort of activity, sort of being active in the week, I'm looking back on that and thinking there should be more probably to it. And I want to try and change for whenever I'm going back to this gym that I've got membership for.
So again, listen to his language here. He's saying, looking back when I was at my peak fitness, peak activity, he's comparing himself all the time. That's where the pain is. We don't dig into that enough, if at all, right? That's where the pain is, okay? But coming back here, right, he's saying, yeah, I tried a bunch of stuff. The common advice, the calorie deficit. So our line of questioning to dig deeper into this before we move on, right, is what did you try that didn't work? This way we know when we're pitching our program, we can avoid these things. He already has a belief that these things don't work, unless it's a very obvious thing that does work, but he just, for whatever reason, believes that it doesn't. Then we'll avoid it, right? But here, the best two questions we need to ask here is, what did you try that did work then, Andrew? Again, like I said, try the calorie deficit. How long? How this much? How much did you lose? What results did you get? Why did you stop if it worked? Why did you stop if it worked, Andrew? Right, that's the biggest thing. He keeps comparing himself. And what we need to do, Bridget, especially for someone like this is a layup kind of prospect because they know it's possible. They've experienced the optimal, the peak performance side of their life before. But there's a roadblock that's stopping them from getting back there by themselves. This is where you come along to bridge that gap. He cannot get there on his own. And subconsciously he knows it because it's been X amount of years. That's why he's on this call. He's only getting more and more overweight each year. He's on this call because he knows he can't do it by himself. But do you know that? Are you leveraging that? So far in the discovery, the answer is no, because we haven't put our foot on his neck. I know that might sound a little bit graphic and, oh, our prospects, we should treat them nice. We are doing a service here. By us applying pressure to that pain, we are literally changing the quality of this guy's life. Because he's gotten off the call, Bridget. We have to face these facts. He's gotten off the call. He's going about his life, still overweight, still being a pussy. Like, he's so resistant to any kind of training. You saw, he doesn't even want to start a gym membership for the next 3 weeks. Buddy, how long do you think it takes to get a membership? He's going to go back to his life doing the same stuff because you didn't apply the pressure. And we as coaches have to take responsibility for that. It's very rare that the people like Andrew get the opportunity to speak to a high-level coach. Bridget, you're one of the most accomplished, one of the most knowledgeable coaches that I know. Very rarely do people like Andrew get an opportunity to speak to you. We need to make sure that this hour that he has with you is impactful. Now, you might be wondering, well, Corbin, how do I do that while staying on the script? Well, you need to understand, Bridget, as you're moving through these phases here, certain things will come up. We need to get as much answers as we can in each phase before moving on to the next. We are still sticking to our framework of the script. But the whole point behind these questions is that they bring up answers that prompt new questions for us. Questions that dive deeper, that give us the real gold. So think about this, like these questions are just like shovels, right? They just start the digging process on the surface level of the big gold minefield, whatever it is, right? And as we go down, I say gold minefield, gold mine, that's it, I think. Just a shovel, just to unpack the surface layer stuff. As we dig, we can see the veins of gold. Just using your intuition, you should apply pressure to those veins of gold. Go down the line, ask more of these questions to extract the information, and then we move on, right? So as you did here, you're asking what prevented you from getting results. Yep, this is a decent line of questioning, but it's the last kind of thing that we do, right? Hopefully you get what I'm saying. So you understanding the script, your tonality is fantastic. Don't change that. But when you can notice a red flag, apply pressure. All right. Moving on here. 1640. This is a huge one. And this is what ends up, I would say, ultimately costing us the sale. Is you ask him, would you be looking to move forward with something like this now, or is it more of a later thing?
Probably more of a later thing. I've just got a few things, like one, it's trying to get back in just the normal flow of the gym, get back into that sort of state of mind with it, and start off again small, because it's been so long since I've actually been in a proper gym doing not CrossFit thing, but my own sort of workout, just the gym in general. The CrossFit was mainly in circuits, not a lot of weight training or anything. So getting back in that sort of normal gym atmosphere and building myself back up to this level would be what I want to sort of start with for the first few weeks maybe, because it had.
Okay. So right away we've got some bullshit. Right, let's just call a spade a spade. You ask him, is this a now thing or a later thing? And he's like, probably a later thing, because I want to get back in the normal flow of gym. He's never been in a normal flow of gym. How would he know? What are we talking about right now? How would he even know? I mean, if he could get back in a normal flow of gym, he would have done it by now. So this is obviously some bullshit. This guy yaps a fuck ton. I mean, my goodness. Like, he doesn't say much. He talks a lot, but he doesn't say much. Right? So this is obviously crap. And what we want to do, as you did, is just dig deeper, get clarification. Right? And so you ask him.
A good structure is about slowly building you up. So why does that feel like it's a later thing for you?
I think probably because the fitness.
So you're asking, why does it feel like it's a later thing for you? We can make our question more specific, right? So here we say, is it now a later thing? Later thing. And he gives us waffle, and we say, why does it feel like a later thing? He's kind of just going to repeat more of this, isn't he? Unless we make our question more specific. So we would say, that's interesting, Andrew. I mean, previously you were telling me that, CrossFit was, it was a terrible experience for you, man. And it's been a while, even before that, since you've been in the gym. So I have to admit, man, I'm just a little bit confused. When you say it's a later thing because you want to get back into the gym with a normal flow, but you've never been in a normal flow, how do you even know what to do? Like, let's say, Andrew, you got a gym membership today. What would you even be doing if you got into the gym? Like, how would you even know what to do, Andrew? Oh, well, I guess I would just look at Instagram workouts. You know what I mean? And you go down the line on that. He clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. But you need to challenge that. Like, you'd be so surprised. People are pushovers, really. If you just challenge them a bit, they'll fall on their sword. They're like, oh, well, actually, yeah, you're right, Bridge. I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Right? So you can't just take a prospect's word as gospel right away. You have to apply some pressure. So what we need to do is just cut through the noise, because he waffles on here, right? He says, it's because the state of fitness I'm at right now is not good. It's been over a year. Exactly, Andrew. I mean, it's been over a year. You've been out of practice. How can you expect to get into a good flow if you haven't even been in the gym for a year? What does it even look like to you? Right? But notice this, Bridget. Instead of us getting more clarity around this thing, you just move on.
Do you feel like having that guidance and that structure would help you build strong foundations that allow you to do that?
So that's part of our kind of next line of questioning, but we're not there yet. Now a later thing. So if he's giving waffle, just call it out. I appreciate you saying that, Andrew, but I'm struggling to really understand this. I mean, let's say, Andrew, we were able to give you the structure, so you actually knew what to do in the gym, and it wasn't overwhelming like CrossFit. Let's say we were actually able to fix your nutrition so that you weren't snacking and unknowingly banking all these calories that were keeping you stuck at this weight. And let's say we did this, and ultimately we had a plan that could get you to XYZ weight in the next 6 months. Is that really still something that you'd want to start later, or am I missing something, Andrew? Is there a reason why you'd want to push that to the side? Right, you just need to like paint the picture for him. Drill down into it, because what he's saying, just plain and simple, doesn't make sense. Like, I had to re-listen to this over and over again. I'm like, what is he actually saying? Right? He just waffles, talks a lot, says nothing. Okay? If we keep moving, 1920. This one I thought was fucking hilarious, though. Right? Let's see. I think it's here. Okay. So you ask him, what would you want your body to look like if you had the structure in place? Okay.
In terms of how it looks, definitely sort of more definition with muscles in the chest and the arms and the shoulders especially. I've still got definition of it, but it was a lot better. I want to try and improve on that from where I previously was, because I thought there was a lot more that could be done with it.
Okay. Bridget, by now we know this guy is just talking out of his ass. He has no idea what he's talking about, but he doesn't know that. He believes what he's saying. He believes he's still got definition. Look at him. Does this look like a defined muscular man? Fuck no. Okay? I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm saying this because you know this. Looking at him, you know this. This is not rocket science, right? We can look right at the situation we already know. This guy does not have definition. Okay? So the note I have here is this leader is clearly suffering from delusion. You need to ask questions or challenge him to reveal the truth. Something that I found was so effective was just ask him to take his shirt off. I know it might sound fucking ridiculous. I was part of this mastermind last year, and one of the fitness coaches in there, he did quite well for himself. And he says for all of his prospects that are overweight, that want to lose weight, partway through the call, he just asked them to take his shirt off, their shirt off. So that not only they can be confronted with the truth, but they can stop bullshitting. This works especially well if you're dealing with a prospect like this, who's just delusional. Okay? Now, it could be delusional, or it could be that he does know, but he's just masking the truth, either out of embarrassment, shame. He's talking to you, right? He doesn't want to admit his faults. He wants to kind of keep it on the down low. It could be a number of things. One thing's for certain, though. neither you or him are going to acknowledge the truth unless there's something tangible. And that could either be looking at his habits or getting him to take his shirt off. So at this point, how you can challenge him is, hang on, let me just zoom out here. So he says, I can still see definition. Okay, Andrew, do you mind if I challenge you on something? Sure, Bridget, go for it. Earlier you mentioned you still feel definition. You don't feel like it's a diet issue, X, Y, Z. The only way for me, Andrew, to really understand truthfully where you're at so I can actually help you with a custom strategy with X, Y, Z is for us to actually see your true starting point. Now, truthfully, Andrew, I don't know what you eat on a day-to-day. As you did before, you can give me the average rundown, but I don't know for sure. You don't know for sure either, because we're not going to remember what we ate last week. But Andrew, there is something that I get my clients to do, which gives me a concrete understanding of where they're at, so I know what to do to help them best, right? Now, I'll admit, Andrew, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's going to help you. Do you mind if I make a request of you? Sure, Bridget, go for it. Would you mind standing up, Andrew, taking off your shirt so I can actually see your starting point, right? I want to see the definition that you do have and where we can work on things. If you ask him for permission and you acknowledge that it might be a bit uncomfortable, most people will still say yes. If he's like, I'm a little bit shy about it, bang, we got him either way. Why are you shy about it, Andrew? Right. What is there to be ashamed of? I just don't feel comfortable. Why don't you feel comfortable? I don't want to take my shirt off. And you can just keep going down that line. If he doesn't want to do it, it's because there's a deep sense of shame there. This is the pain. Okay? And again, this can be a mindset reframe thing later on, right? You can challenge him on, Andrew, based on the way that you make decisions. Do you think you've usually opted for the most comfortable pathway or stuff that puts you out of your comfort zone? More comfort. And where has that led you to right now, Andrew? I'm this, I'm still fat, but are you happy with where you're at, Andrew? No, I'm not. Would it be safe to say, Andrew, that based on the way that you make decisions to optimize for comfort, it's led you to a place that you're not happy with? Yes. So, Andrew, if you want to change the way that you look, how you feel, I know earlier, Andrew, you didn't want to take your shirt off. It made you feel a little bit embarrassed, a little bit shameful, right? Do you want to continue feeling like that, Andrew? Yes or no? No, I don't. So, Andrew, if you want to feel differently, would it be fair to say that in order for us to get different results, we have to do different things? Yes. In order for us to do different things, we have to stop making decisions for comfort and start making decisions for discomfort. Yes. And why do you think that is, Andrew? Why make decisions for discomfort over comfort? Because you don't grow in your comfort zone. Exactly, Andrew. Boom, 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 boom. So, mindset reframe, right? He understands he's not going to get anywhere without discomfort. He needs to make a different decision. You do this reframe in the discovery. Why? So that if he tries to bullshit you in the objection phase or after the pitch, you can hold him to it. Andrew, do you mind if I just remind you of something? Or, Andrew, got a bad memory. Could you remind me of what you said earlier? When I asked you, blah, 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 mindset this, comfort, discomfort, what did you tell me? I need to make decisions for discomfort. Right. So, Andrew, in a moment like this, what would the healthy version of Andrew do? What would the Andrew 2.0 version of you do? He'd make this kind of decision. Right. So what decision do you need to make right now to put yourself in the best position to live a life like Andrew 2.0, to be fit, to have the definition, to have more confidence, to lose the weight, to get the energy back, to not only be at your previous peak, but more than that? What decision do you need to make right now, Andrew? This is. Cool. But again, Bridget, we do this in the discovery so that when we hold people's feet to the fire in the objections, they know it's from a place of us being on their side, that we're not pressuring them. We're trying to help them. They don't trust your words, Bridget. They trust theirs. This is why, if we're collecting all this ammunition on people, asking them all these questions, we actually need to use it. No point just asking these questions if we're not going to hold them to their standard. One thing about people, especially people like this, that are very prideful, right? They believe their own words very well. They need to be congruent. If they say one thing, they need to be congruent with it. So if they just said something 20 minutes ago, where they're like, yeah, I need to make difficult decisions. Well, motherfucker, what do you think this is? This is a difficult decision. What do you think you should do? Right? Cool. Moving on, some really great points. I found you had a really solid recap, and you can do this quite a lot, which is great.
So it seems like you really want to build good foundations that are going to last with you long term, especially considering you feel good when you do have that structure in place.
Definitely.
So, considering everything we've been discussing, is there anything else on the horizon that might take priority over you taking your health and fitness seriously?
Great. And you could see how engaged he was with it. I was like, yep, absolutely. You're so right, Bridget. Yep. 100%. So this job thing, this ended up becoming an objection later where he says, oh, the only thing on the horizon is that I'm starting a job. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, well, I'm starting on the 8th of Feb, right? If we bring this up now, it's not an objection later on. It's just information now.